2, 1.
It's Wednesday. Good morning.
It is definitely Wednesday. Feels like it should be a Thursday or Friday.
I was actually thinking that, like, it really feels like a Thursday.
Yeah. This couple of days feels like they've gone by a little bit slower. Been very busy, obviously, but it feels like it just dragged on just a little bit. I don't know why that's the case, or I just can't figure it. Maybe because it's just hot outside. I don't know.
And you know what? I will say, so yesterday, Tuesday, was May 10th, and in Mexico you celebrate Mother's Day, always on May 10th. So Feliz Dia de las Madres tarde, late to the moms out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and when we were talking about Mother's Day, I was going to ask you about that, whether you guys did celebrate it, or if your mom just got two celebrations.
Celebrates it all.
She just celebrates all month.
She deserves it. Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know about all month. Hold on. My birthday month's coming up. All right, so thank you so much for tuning into KSAT News Now. Of course, we're streaming, podcasting on all of our digital platforms. So thanks for being with us this Wednesday morning.
Definitely several ways that you can find us. Going to talk about a lot of things here, but first of all, Betty White. We all know her. We loved her. She was awesome. The GOAT. We have a story coming up for the ultimate Betty White fan looking to get their hands on some memorabilia.
You'll want to save your money for that one. And another actor in a sticky situation after he super glued himself to get a point across. We'll explain why and what happened with all of it.
All right, and a lot of parents and mothers especially feeling this right now. They're desperate to find baby formula, and we talked to a local woman to find out what she is doing in order to find food for her baby. Very interesting story there.
It's tough for parents right now. But first we want to start in North Texas. This is really a chilling story out of the Dallas area that has parents on high alert. A North Texas teen was reported missing after a Dallas Mavericks game, and it was later discovered that the teen was advertised and sold for sex in Oklahoma City. But here's the thing, her family says that more people could have done things differently to prevent this from even happening, but unfortunately they did not. Yeah,
this is a very disturbing story and a lot of different angles to this. So this case initially stems from April, where a 15-year-old girl from North Richland Hills went to a Mavs game with her dad. So right before halftime, the teen went to the bathroom but never made it back to her seat. Instead, video surveillance showed her exiting the American Airlines Center with a man.
Her dad notified police at the game, but claims he was told to report it to North Richland Hills Police, which is weird. But they told him that since that's where they live. But when he did call North Richland Hills Police that night, he was told they weren't able to help because, of course, the incident happened in Dallas. So a lot of runaround, and unfortunately, this is something that in different cases people do see all the time, even if you're just calling to report an accident or anything of the sort.
Right, so strange. And I know we're going to talk maybe a little bit about the Mavs part of this too. So she was missing for a total of 11 days until her parents identified their daughter through nude photos that had been posted online in sex advertisements. But it wasn't police who found these pictures. It was actually a Houston-based human trafficking agency, Texas Counter Trafficking Initiative, that used face recognition technology to help break open this case.
I can't imagine what those parents have gone through. 11 days without knowing or hearing from their daughter, and then to find out in the way that they did what was going on with her. She's only 15 years old. So then this agency contacted Oklahoma City Police, and then officers stepped in. They found that teen in a hotel room in Oklahoma City.
And this week, the family's attorney sent a letter to the agencies saying that they should have handled things better. Definitely should have done that. Those included the American Airlines Center, the Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas Police Department, and the Oklahoma City hotel where that teen was found. They haven't heard back from any of those parties, but hopes to hear back soon to settle the matter without a lawsuit. And as we were saying here, there's obviously a ton of holes here, a ton of missteps going on. I just, going back to the very beginning of this, just thinking about why wouldn't Mav Security get involved in this, or why would they not get involved in this whole situation initially if the father is reporting that his daughter went missing at a game?
So obviously a lot of questions here. It's normal for, even a minor to get up and go to the restroom. You never think anything of it. Unfortunately, in this case, a very horrible thing happened. Was she lured by this man? Did she know this man? Was there any contact, like through social media? Were they meeting up there and she just didn't tell her dad? Those are details that are still under investigation. They haven't been released. But yeah, why, if someone goes to report something, a fight, a disturbance, something, usually they walk with you, take a report, at least pay attention to you. And in this case, the dad says that he was told to actually not just contact his city police, right, at home, but to go home.
Right. And North Richland Hills is like a suburb, right? North Dallas area? Yeah, so what that makes it, and the American Airlines Center, obviously in downtown Dallas, there's officers there too.
Yeah.
DPD. And just a lot of different holes there. And I mean, as we were talking about, very trying time for that family there.
All right, so we are paying a lot more for things like groceries, of course, and other household items. And while prices are still high, the inflation rates have slowed down just a bit for the first time since August.
The U.S. Bureau of Labor released new numbers today that show while many people are stretching their dollar in every way possible, we know that the way that feels, price increases may actually be peaking.
So this one, it's a lot to,
it is.
to take in. Like, is it good? Is it bad? All right, so consumer prices jumped 8.3% in April compared to a year ago. But that was below the 8.5% year-over-year surge in March, which was actually the highest since 1981.
Yeah, so we kept on hearing about that 40-year high when it comes to inflation, and that was from March's numbers. So a little bit of a drop there in April, but still, obviously, if you go anywhere, you see that these prices are still very high. And actually, economists are saying that there are still a lot of factors that will keep these prices high as we get into the summer. Of course, the war in Ukraine, which has put pressure on energy, and something, of course, we're all seeing food prices.
Yep. Economists are also concerned about the increase in housing costs, which will likely stick around after other price peaks pass. So it's just tough all around.
It is. And when you're looking at these numbers, we were trying to, like you said, trying to figure out, is this good news, bad news? I think what economists are saying was that we may have hit sort of the peak of these increases, but they're still going to stay high. It's not like anything's going to all of a sudden drop down anytime soon. So I think there's a little bit of a breather, because at least maybe we know that, the prices won't continue to climb, but they're still going to be high. I noticed it the other day, went to H-E-B to go buy some fruit, and I noticed that this little a package of fruit that I usually get was like 8 cents cheaper than what I'd been paying for it. I was like, oh my God, this is big. This is a big moment for me right here. I'm going to get all of them. No, I'm just playing.
It all adds up. It really does.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've talked to some folks who say, before I used to budget maybe $100, $120 for a grocery trip, and now they're getting, a fourth or maybe even half of what they usually get, because it's just expensive.
I wish I could go back and see what my grocery receipts were from a year ago. I really do. I know it's a lot higher than it is now.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I'm just like, what is
even
going
if
on
you
here?
just look at eggs, it's tough. Well, some parents say it's out of desperation to feed their baby, but they're using social media to follow parent groups that trade or sell baby formula. So we've talked about this before, and they're following these groups, again, to try to find something or just to offer some type of information or support.
Absolutely, yeah. So they're going online to do anything here, and some have had luck with generous people willing to give away formula that they can no longer use, but they're also running into scammers. Always see this when people are just trying to help other people. Some moms will sell formula but not ship it, or they're charging ridiculous amounts for cans, which you have absolutely seen online.
Yeah, this has prompted doctors to caution desperate and frustrated parents and advise them not to buy from non-reputable suppliers, so that would include your Facebook Marketplace, because there's a chance it doesn't hold the same nutritional standards as ones found in store, right? There's no guarantee that what is in there, even if it's sealed, that it's actually the baby formula that your child needs. And what makes this so difficult is, not all babies can have the same formula. There's a sensitive stomach, there's just so many varieties out there, which makes it even harder for parents to get their hands on what they need.
And it just points to what we were saying earlier, just the desperation of people trying to do anything to get their hands on formula. So here in San Antonio, Emily Clayton, this is a woman that we'll hear from in just a bit, said that there have been times when she visits 5 stores in a single day to purchase at least 1 can, and she has driven miles to pick up the food her baby son needs.
Another can that I was supposed to pick up last night and trade some of his baby items for. That's a huge thing too, trading old baby items for formula.
So it's been nearly 3 months since a massive recall of some popular brands at a Michigan-based plant made what was already an existing shortage caused by supply chain issues much worse, and this is what we're getting, and there's no telling when this will all end. So there you heard that mom having to trade. I mean, you hear this. There was a story that I read a few years ago where a girl started trading a bobby pin for different items and worked her way up to I think like a brand new vehicle.
Right.
So started with a bobby pin, never paid a penny, and just trading up, right? So it's something that you're saying, but it's just crazy to think that people are having to trade items for food that their child needs.
I heard a lot about this, not specifically with baby formula, during the pandemic, when people were looking for toilet paper. Remember that that toilet paper craziness? People were trading maybe water, you know, other items that they had, maybe hand sanitizer for toilet paper. So this is just kind of going back to these old school kind of bartering, you know, methods and stuff, kind of the old ways that things were traded and sold. But still, I mean, it's unfortunate that, you know, a woman like this has to go to all these different stores. I mean,
and dads are
spend all
going
that
through it
gas
too. I mean,
money
you
too.
think about single dads.
Like,
and there's women who are selling or giving breast milk too. So manufacturers say they are producing as much formula as they're able to try to meet the demand. But again, no telling when that will end.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so switching gears a little bit here. Well, a longtime actor, I'm not sure if you are familiar with this actor. I know the name, seen him in a bunch of stuff. He's also a big animal activist. Well, he's making the rounds on social media this morning after, get this, he super glued his hand to a Starbucks counter to protest Starbucks charging extra for plant-based milks.
Yeah, so the actor James Cromwell has been in dozens of movies and is one of the stars on the HBO show Succession. In the video, he's seen wearing a Free the Animals shirt and demanded that Starbucks stop charging more for vegan milk. Okay,
so I go to Starbucks every now and then. I don't ever ask for the extra milk. No, definitely not. But this was kind of surprising to me. So Starbucks charges around 50 to 70 cents based on whatever market they're in for extra. This is 50 to 70 cents extra for a dairy alternative in their drinks. That includes like soy milk, oat milk, right? Those are plant-based milks.
Yeah, so they had some signs there, Starbucks in the vegan upcharge. I have noticed this. I mean, but Starbucks is expensive no matter what.
Right.
Yeah. So police said there were no arrests, and Cromwell later used a knife to actually scrape his hand off because, again, he used super glue. And I was wondering, because I saw that video, I didn't put the audio on, but I noticed that the camera shows his hand on the counter, and I just thought, like, I'm not moving from here. I didn't think it was like actual super glue. I'm not sure what the connection there is.
Definitely not. So Starbucks said in a statement, a quote, that we respect our customers' rights to respectfully voice their opinions so long as it does not disrupt our store operations, end quote there.
So did it disrupt it? I mean, because I would think it's pretty disruptive to glue yourself on a counter.
I think they kind of cleared out the scene pretty soon. I mean, obviously for those, I think he was there for about half an hour or so before police got there and kind of took care of that whole situation. But yeah, James Cromwell actually has been a big time animal activist. He actually protested SeaWorld using the orcas back in 2017. So he's well known when it comes to animal activism. I don't think it's going to change anything when it comes to their prices, because Starbucks even said that it's what other coffee shops do as well. I mean, they charge more for certain milks.
Well, what he was protesting is that Starbucks claims to strive for a sustainable future. So his argument is, how are you doing that? And you're wanting people to use healthier alternatives, but you're making it harder because you are charging more. And yeah, for every little thing that you add, it's 50, 70 cents more. So
ends up being a $6.
Yeah, so during the winter is usually when I go, just to get a chai latte.
Okay.
But those are like $6.
I know. It is very pricey.
All right, Betty White and Golden Girls Forever. The enduring legacy of one of America's most treasured actresses lives on, and part of it could be yours. Betty White's estate is having an auction.
All right, this is really cool. So the auction is filled with memorabilia, awards, and scripts from her iconic films and, of course, television shows like the all-time great Golden Girls. So this auction also includes wardrobe, like the dress that Betty White wore to the Emmys back in 1990. We also have furnishings, artwork, fine jewelry, household and personal items from her beloved homes in California, and they will also be bid on as well.
I am a huge fan of Golden Girls. Like, I will watch that anytime. But you know, this is a question I could ask myself. How much would you be willing to spend on the 1992 finale script of The Golden Girls? And it's signed by the entire cast. RJ, how much?
Well, I'm a big Golden Girls fan too. Grew up
Really?
with it. Yeah,
No
heck yeah, I
way.
grew up with it. Yeah, my grandma, my mom watched it all the time.
Okay, how much would you bid?
Stuck with them. Okay, so I would probably bid in the like 20,000 if I was a big fan.
Oh my
Not that I
gosh.
have this money to be bidding. I'm just gonna throw out a number.
Sarah Spivey's
I was a
here with us.
huge Golden Girls
How
fan.
much are you a fan of Golden Girls?
I will be honest. I have never seen an episode.
All
of
right, well,
Oh.
you're missing out. It's funny.
And I know it's great, so I don't have anything against it.
Yeah.
Right.
I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well,
All
there's
right,
all
well,
sorts
that-
of reruns.
But
Yeah, all the
so you
time.
said $20,000. How much is it expected to go?
That's the question.
$5,000.
Yeah.
I see,
$5,000. I would maybe bid on a couple $100, but not thousands.
Yeah, I'm
especially
curious
not
to see what the
5,000.
result, especially if it's signed by the entire cast,
Yeah.
all these comedic legends in their own right, including Betty White, who was such
Yeah.
a pioneer and trailblazer as well.
So that auction, before we get to Sarah with weather, is expected to be on September 23rd, and it's 3 days. It is in California, but it'll also be online. So
Cool.
very cool.
Good stuff
Neat.
there. We'll find out the
Cool.
results.
Yes,
Bring
we'll
'em.
see. We'll see. Hey, I wanted to start with the drought, guys, because you know the drought is very bad around South Central Texas, around Texas in general, and usually May is a month where we get a lot of rain, and it just doesn't look good going into summer with exceptional drought across much of South Central Texas. So I wanted to take a moment to talk about how much rain we would need over the summer in order to come out of drought. So the next 3 months through August. This number is staggering. Are you ready? 17 inches of rain we would need in the next 3 months through August for areas like San Antonio, up toward Austin, and down toward Hallettsville, as well as parts like Karnes City and things like that. So we would need 17 inches of rain across the hill country, a little bit more than 17 inches of rain for areas like Bernie, Fredericksburg, Marble Falls Junction, Rock Springs, out west toward Del Rio. And then in the rest of our viewing area, up still more than a foot of rain, 14 inches of rain for areas like Pleasanton, Pearsall, Carrizo Springs, Eagle Pass, down toward the valley. That is an exceptional amount of rain to get in the summertime. And in fact, when you look at the probability of that much rain, it's less than 2%. So the probability of us coming out of drought in the summer months is less than 2%. The one thing that could do that for us is a tropical system, okay? But here's the thing, that comes with its own issues as well. So again, the probability of that happening is less than 2%, coming out of drought less than 2%. So we're in it for the long haul, especially over the summer months. And then look at rain chances over the next 7 days. Practically zero, right? We've got a small opportunity on Saturday to see some rain, but it's not going to help us out as far as the drought is concerned. So I know that's not great news, but you know, we can get through the summer and we'll continue to keep you updated. It is possible that we could get some good rain, just it would be less than 2% to see 17 plus inches of rain in and around San Antonio area. All right, it's in the 80s right now. We're starting to see those skies clear, but we do have some puffy cumulus clouds. You can actually see each individual cloud from space here. Pretty neat there. 82 in San Antonio, 89 at Stinson, 82 Port SA, and 81 in Converse. For the afternoon, though, we're going to be looking at a forecast high close to 95. So it's going to be hot. 95 in San Antonio, 95 in Seguin, 94 in New Braunfels, 91 in Bernie. Here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast, seeing partly cloudy skies for most of this afternoon. Winds are going to be breezy from the southeast at about 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusts up to 25, topping off at 95 around 5 p.m. And then tonight's going to be a warm one. Temperatures will struggle to get down into the 70s even by midnight. So it's going to be a warm, breezy evening after a hot and humid and breezy day. On the satellite and radar, we really are not going to see much in the way of rain because of a ridge of high pressure that's in place. That's, if you notice, sending all of the rain up and over Texas. So that's why we're going to have a dry forecast over the next several days, with the exception of a stray shower or storm possible Saturday. But again, the chance is only 10% there, so it's not a good chance. Let's take a look, though, into the weekend. We'll be challenging record highs each day. Lunar eclipse, though, Sunday night, lunar eclipse. Totality will happen about 10:30 to midnight, and we should only have a few passing clouds at that time. So the lunar eclipse will be visible.
I always like
Yes.
stepping out and seeing, witnessing. I think it's cool.
Witnessing, yeah, the eclipse. Big fan base here for eclipses here in San Antonio. Those stories always do really well on our website. Sarah, real quick before you head out, I wanted to ask you about. We're talking about the drought. What does this mean for lakes and local and bodies of water? Like you always kind of hear about low levels and stuff. Yeah.
Especially like Medina Lake is a reservoir, so its level is always going to be variable, but it's likely to continue to go down. So again, 2011, Medina Lake at times was 3% full.
Man.
So
Oh boy.
it's not looking good for us as far as the summer months goes. And we've already had 2 triple-digit days in May.
Yeah.
The earliest we've seen consecutive triple-digit days on record since 1885.
Oh my gosh.
So it's going to be a hot one, I think, and a dry one.
Very hot. The last two stories I've done.
on are like really good.
The last 2 stories I've done the past couple of days, we've had to, just to kind of pull back the curtain a little bit, we've had to go sort of door to door to ask residents in these neighborhoods about these stories that we're working on. And God bless our photographer, Luis Cienfuegos, because he is... We
All
are
of
going
them.
up
I
and
always
down,
think about
and our photographers,
our
just
photojournalists,
out
because
there.
it's not just one story that they're focused on. They'll go cover 5, 6, they have busy days.
They have to be outdoors.
And
most
they're
of the
always so
time.
kind. They're like, okay, well, you're done with your interview. You can start writing. I'm going to step out and continue
Shoot
recording.
stuff,
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
There's no breaks.
It's been very hot out
We were
there.
out in New Braunfels yesterday talking about the low employment. They haven't been able to employ many of high school, college students for their summer activities.
Yeah.
So that's, kind of putting a damper on that. Some have been canceled or delayed. But even in that, I think it was like an hour tops that we were out there drenched.
Right, yeah.
It's
You
just
step
so
outside,
hot.
it's very hot, yeah. So maybe we'll get some rain, hopefully.
Yeah.
Praying to the
And if
rain
not,
gods.
go to the river, y'all.
There we go. You
Find
can
a
always
pool.
do that. All right. Well, thank you very much for being with us today on KSAT News Now. Make sure you enjoy your Wednesday. And again, just stay cool. Try and stay out of this heat a little bit.
Halfway through the week, you guys. We've almost made it. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m.